The promotion was announced for leadership and innovation. The presentation deck was entirely my work. My name appeared nowhere in the announcement. My name is Jennifer, and I'd worked as a data analyst at the tech startup for 3 years. Customer behavior modeling, revenue optimization algorithms, market segmentation frameworks. The all-hands meeting was scheduled for Tuesday at 10. Subject line, major announcement. I arrived early. The conference room was already filling. My boss stood at the front with the CEO and the head of product. The CEO opened. He said the company had achieved a breakthrough in customer retention, a new predictive model that increased retention by 43%. He said this innovation had positioned them for Series B funding. Investors were impressed. He announced a promotion. My boss was now VP of Analytics and Innovation. The screen behind him showed slides. My slides. The model I'd built over 8 months. The algorithms I'd developed. The validation tests I'd run. Every chart, every graph, every projection. My boss smiled, thanked the team, said it had been a collaborative effort. I'd never been asked to collaborate. I'd built it alone, documented every stage, kept detailed records. I sat in the back row, laptop open, folder labelled Retention Model, Development Log. I didn't say anything.
Not yet. The meeting continued. My boss walked through the methodology, explained the data inputs, described the validation process. All of it was accurate, because all of it was mine. The CEO asked questions. My boss answered them smoothly. I took notes, time-stamped the meeting, recorded who said what. After 30 minutes, the CEO wrapped up. He thanked my boss again, mentioned the promotion came with equity. The room applauded. I closed my laptop, left quietly. Back at my desk, I opened my development folder. Every iteration of the model was there, dated, versioned, commented. I'd started the project in March, 8 months ago, solo assignment. My boss had approved the project scope, said I should run with it. I checked my emails, found the original project brief from my boss. March 12th. Subject, New Retention Analysis, Your Project. Body text. Jennifer, customer retention needs work. Build us something better. You own this. Let me know if you need resources. I'd sent him monthly updates, progress reports, results. He'd replied with short acknowledgements. Good work. Keep going. Looks promising. No collaboration, no input, no co-authorship. I exported every email, saved them in a new folder labelled Project Communications. Then I reviewed my Git repository. Every commit was mine. Every line of code had my username. Every model iteration had my timestamp. I exported the entire commit history, added it to the folder. Wednesday morning, my boss sent a company-wide email thanking the team for their support on the retention model, mentioning his new role. My name wasn't in the email. I didn't reply. Thursday, the CEO posted on LinkedIn, announced the promotion, mentioned the breakthrough innovation, attached a photo of my boss presenting, my slides visible in the background. I took a screenshot, added it to my folder. Friday afternoon, my boss stopped by my desk. He said the promotion meant changes. He'd need someone to maintain the retention model, make updates, handle implementation. He asked if I could take that on. I said yes. He said, great, he'd send over documentation. I asked if he had development notes. He paused, said he'd need to pull those together. I said I could help. I had detailed records from the project. He said that wasn't necessary. He had what he needed. I said okay. He left.
I opened my calendar, scheduled time with myself. Monday morning, title, Review Options. The weekend passed. Monday morning, I researched intellectual property law in Australia, specifically workplace authorship and attribution. I found 3 law firms specialising in employment disputes. I drafted a summary, project timeline, documentation available. Question: did I have a claim? I sent it to all 3 firms. 2 responded by Tuesday. 1 said it sounded promising but complex. They'd need a consultation. The other said they'd seen similar cases, asked if I could come in Thursday. I scheduled the Thursday meeting. Wednesday, my boss sent the documentation for the retention model. 5 PowerPoint slides, high-level overview, no methodology, no code, no validation data. I reviewed it. It was a summary I'd created for executives 6 months ago, simplified, non-technical, not documentation. Marketing material. I saved it, added it to my folder. Thursday at 2, I met the lawyer. Small office in the CBD, 10th floor. I brought printed copies of everything. Project emails, commit history, development log, the slides from the announcement, the LinkedIn post. She reviewed it for 40 minutes. Then she asked about my employment contract, specifically intellectual property clauses. I pulled it up on my laptop. Section 8, Intellectual Property Rights. It stated, all work product created by employee in the course of employment shall be the property of the company. She read it carefully. Then she asked about attribution and authorship. Did the contract mention credit or recognition? I scanned the document. Nothing about attribution. She said that was common. Companies own the IP, but authorship is different. Misrepresenting authorship could be fraud, especially if it influenced compensation decisions like promotions. She asked if I could prove my boss misrepresented his role. I showed her his emails. Your project. You own this. I showed her the commit history, only my name. I showed her the monthly progress reports, all from me. His responses never claimed involvement. She said I had documentation, strong documentation. I asked what my options were. She said I could file a formal complaint with HR, request an internal investigation, or I could involve the board directly. Request a review of the promotion decision based on misrepresentation, or I could threaten legal action, fraud, unjust enrichment. I asked which she recommended. She said it depended on what I wanted. Correction? Compensation? His termination? I thought about it. I said I wanted the record corrected. And I wanted what he got. The promotion, the equity. She said that was achievable, but it required board involvement. HR might cover it up. I asked how to reach the board. She said most companies have a whistleblower policy, or an ethics hotline, anonymous reporting for fraud or misconduct. I asked if she could help me file. She said yes. She'd draft a formal complaint, evidence attached, legal analysis included. It would go directly to the board's audit committee. I authorised her to proceed. She said she'd have it ready in 3 days. Friday, I worked normally, answered emails, attended meetings, maintained the retention model as requested. My boss seemed pleased, said I was handling the transition well. I said thank you. Monday, the lawyer sent the draft complaint, 12 pages, executive summary, timeline, evidence appendix, legal analysis. The conclusion: my boss had misrepresented authorship of my work to secure a promotion and equity compensation. This constituted fraud under company policy and potentially under law. The complaint requested full investigation, correction of the record, review of the promotion decision,
appropriate remedies for the actual author. I reviewed it twice, made no changes, approved it. She filed it Tuesday morning, directly to the board's audit committee, marked confidential. I received a confirmation. The complaint had been logged, case number assigned, response expected within 15 business days. I saved the confirmation. Then I went back to work. Wednesday, nothing happened. Thursday, nothing happened. Friday, my boss seemed normal. No indication he knew anything. Week 2 began the same way. I worked, attended meetings, responded to requests. My boss announced he was hiring new team members for the analytics division. His expanded responsibilities required support. I helped screen candidates. Wednesday of week 2, I received an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject, case inquiry. The body said, "This is regarding complaint C-2024-847. We need to schedule a confidential interview. Please respond with your availability." Signed, Board Audit Committee. I responded, "Available any time this week." They replied within an hour. Friday at 9 a.m, video call, link attached. I confirmed. Friday arrived. I joined the call from home, took the day off, told my boss I wasn't feeling well. 3 people on the call, 2 board members, 1 external investigator. They confirmed my identity, explained the process. Everything was confidential. Then they asked me to walk through the complaint. I shared my screen, showed the project timeline, the initial email from my boss, the monthly updates, the commit history. I showed the all-hands announcement, the slides, the promotion. I showed the follow-up email where he asked me to maintain the model, his admission he didn't have documentation. They asked questions for 90 minutes. Did anyone else work on the model? No. Did my boss contribute any technical work? No. Did he ever claim co-authorship before the promotion? No. Did I have contemporaneous documentation? Yes. Everything was time-stamped and versioned. They thanked me, said they'd continue the investigation. I should expect follow-up within 2 weeks. The call ended. I closed my laptop, made tea, waited. Week 3 was quiet. My boss remained unaware. He was busy hiring, doing press interviews about the retention breakthrough. I saw him quoted in a tech publication. "The key to innovation is creative problem solving." I screenshotted it, added it to my folder. Week 4, Wednesday morning, my boss was called into a meeting with the CEO, 2 board members. He was gone for 3 hours. When he returned, he went straight to his office, closed the door. You didn't speak to anyone the rest of the day. Thursday, HR sent me a meeting request. Friday at 10. Subject, confidential discussion. I accepted. Friday morning, I walked into the conference room. 2 HR representatives, 1 board member, the external investigator. They thanked me for my cooperation with the investigation. They said they'd completed their review, interviewed multiple parties, reviewed all documentation. Their findings? The retention model was solely my work. My boss had not contributed to its development. He had misrepresented his role in securing the promotion. This violated company policy on ethical conduct and truthful representation. The board had taken action. My boss's promotion was being rescinded. He would return to his previous role. An interim VP would be appointed while they conducted a proper search. I would be credited as the sole author of the retention model in all company materials. I would receive a compensation adjustment, back pay to reflect what I should have earned, plus a retention bonus. They were also reviewing my career trajectory. A promotion was under consideration. Timeline, next quarter.
I asked if my boss knew. He'd been informed yesterday. He'd been given the option to accept the demotion or resign. He chose to resign. Effective immediately. I asked if this would be communicated to the company. They said a revised announcement would go out Monday. Correcting the record. I thanked them. They asked if I had questions. I said no. The meeting ended in 23 minutes. I returned to my desk. My boss's office was empty. His belongings were gone. Monday morning, the CEO sent a company-wide email. Subject, correction and update. He stated there had been an error in the previous announcement regarding the retention model. The work had been completed solely by Jennifer Chen, Senior Data Analyst. Credit for the innovation belonged to her. The promotion previously announced was being reversed due to misrepresentation. The company apologized for the error. My phone started receiving messages, colleagues congratulating me, asking what happened. I didn't respond. Tuesday, I received my compensation adjustment. Significant increase, retroactive to the date my boss had been promoted, plus a retention bonus equal to 6 months' salary. Wednesday, they posted the VP role internally, encouraged me to apply. I did. The interview process took 3 weeks. Panel interviews, case studies, reference checks. They offered me the position on a Friday. VP of Analytics and Innovation. Same title my boss had been given, equity included. I accepted. My start date was 2 weeks out. I spent those 2 weeks documenting everything. The investigation, the outcome, the promotion. Not because I needed to, because documentation had been the difference between silence and justice. 3 months into the VP role, I attended a board meeting, quarterly review. I presented the retention model's performance. 43% improvement sustained, new implementations planned. The CEO mentioned it had been a challenging quarter, but the model was delivering. One board member asked how I was settling into leadership. I said it was going well. She said they were glad the situation had been resolved appropriately. I thanked her. The meeting moved to other topics. 6 months later, I hired 3 new analysts, built the team my predecessor had wanted to build. I made sure every project had clear authorship, every contribution was credited, every achievement was documented. Not because I was worried, because I'd learned what happens when the record isn't clear. 1 year after the investigation, I ran into my former boss at an industry conference. Different company. Individual contributor role. No leadership title. He saw me across the room, looked away quickly, left the session early. I stayed for the full presentation. 2 years into the VP role, the company went public. The retention model was mentioned in the prospectus, cited as a key competitive advantage. My name was in the document, listed as the creator. My equity vested. I kept all the documentation from the investigation, the complaint, the findings, the corrected announcement, not in a drawer, in a secure digital vault, encrypted, backed up. Some records aren't about the past. They're insurance for the future.